Right now in the Denver area, some homes are just price cuts, 60 plus days on the market, frustrated sellers, you name it. But at the exact same time, a home down the street could possibly sell for over list price in just a week or so. I'm Heather O'Leary. I'm a realtor in the Denver metro area, and I have been analyzing market trends and helping people buy and sell properties. And so I really need to explain to you what is going on in this weird 2026 market. What are you supposed to do if you are trying to sell your house? How do you know how to price it right and actually get it sold? And what are you supposed to do as a buyer who doesn't know, is that house price right? Or should I try to get a discount? Or is a lowball offer going to offend somebody? So in this video, I'm gonna chat a little bit about which properties are really struggling to sell, and then also share with you some of the markets that are really moving here in the Denver area. There are some other realtors who use months of inventory to describe what's going on in the Denver market, and that just does not apply. For example, we are technically at about 3 months of inventory in the Denver metro region, but that's considered a seller's market. But that just isn't true for Denver specifically. People really see that there are changes in the way buyers make offers, meaning that it's probably closer to being a buyer's market at that moment. The leverage is shifting. Okay, so check out my version of supply and demand. Active listings are the supply on the market. Demand is pending homes, the homes that have gone under contract in the last 30 days. If you look at this chart, you will be able to tell how incredibly flooded this market is in the Denver area. But of course, statistics can tell different stories depending on how you interpret them. We're hovering right around 14,000 homes for sale. That's actually down year over year from last May when we were sitting at 15,000 homes for sale. But if you look back over the course of the last few years, what you'll notice is that there is just a flood of houses for sale right now in the Denver area, which is fantastic news if you're a buyer. But if you're a seller, it really means that you have to do the right things in order to sell your property. Now, houses are still moving. Demand is still there. We're right around 4,700 homes that have gone under contract in the last month. What's crazy is that's very consistent for the last 3 or 4 years, ever since rates increased dramatically. But that's down by right around 20% from where we were before the very low interest rate COVID years. So what we have right now is incredibly high supply and lower demand. What does that tell you? That tells me that we are in a little bit more of a buyer's market, but not for every single property. And so I'm going to share with you what exactly buyers are looking for right now and why our median days on market is only 15. Yes, half of the homes that are selling right now are selling in less than 2 weeks. The other half are lingering on the market, pulling our average days on market way up to 38. Here are the top 5 markets that are really struggling. Number 1, properties with high HOAs. I have seen a ton of properties with clients lately that have HOA fees of $400 to $600 a month. I mean, can you imagine paying that much money to an HOA? Now, those people who are selling properties with a very high HOA have to account for it somehow. I've seen a lot of variety. One property was specifically offering to pay the HOA fee for an entire year, which honestly at $500 a month, that's only right around $6,000. And we ended up getting $10,000 in concessions for my client, not $6,000. The buyer can use those concessions for anything that they want to, but what they want to be aware of is the fact that it's very possible that HOA is maybe not well run. Basically, what you're looking for are the amount of reserves, budget the HOA has, all of the meeting minutes, and wondering if there's going to be a special assessment, and rules and regulations and what they're using their budget for. A property that has a very high HOA needs to have a lower price. And that's where the pressure is coming from. And those kinds of properties are everywhere. Any of these attached homes like condos, townhomes, or patio homes, or even communities that are single family homes with very high HOA fees that don't really offer the amenities that they're trying to sell you. Where is that money going? That's what people want to know. And I think that's a fair question to ask. Next on our list are properties that are in disrepair. And what I mean by that is not necessarily that they haven't been updated, because a lot of people can look past, flooring or paint. What I really mean are homes that have been neglected for years. Buyers can tell. Now, usually what you'll see is that there are a ton of showings on these kinds of properties because they might look appealing. And then once a buyer comes in, they'll notice that there are things that needed to be taken care of. Like, for example, the house that I'm sitting in right now had some things that needed to have done to it before we put it on the market. No buyer wants to go into a property and immediately have to replace a water heater or redo all the landscaping or paint a deck, or there's all kinds of other things, of course, that could go wrong with a property. And I have a lot of sellers who will come to me and say, I'm selling this house completely as is. And you know what I tell them 100% of the time? In this market right now, no, you are not. You might think that you're selling your house as is, or it might be overwhelming. If it's overwhelming, well, that's okay. That's why you're gonna hire me, because I'll help you figure out the logistics of what needs to be repaired, who to use, and how to make it go fast so that you aren't lingering on the market or waiting for the home to sell for a really long period of time. But you are going to have to take care of your property. You cannot price a property at the same as the other houses in the neighborhood if there are issues that need to be addressed. If it needs a new furnace or a new AC, you're going to have to replace those. And by the way, putting those into your house does not make it worth more money. All right, next up, any home that is in a new construction zone. And what I mean by that is an area that's being built up. Now, they are all over the Denver area. Usually they're on the outside of that 470 ring. I'm talking about Sterling Ranch, that's a huge new build community, Castle Rock, Parker, the Canyons, Aurora Highlands, Broomfield, Superior, Longmont, Lafayette, anywhere that there's land. Colorado is a little bit like one of the coastal cities because in some ways you are landlocked by the foothills. So the only place to build is east or north or south. So those areas will have tons of builders. There's nothing wrong with these areas. However, if you just purchased a new build in one of those communities and you need to sell it, you're going to be competing against all of those builders. I have a client who purchased a home in a new build community just a year and a half ago, and builders are offering steep discounts, not always on the ticket price. Usually they're offering those discounts on the interest rate, which saves buyers tons and tons of money in their monthly payment. But it's really hard to compete if you're trying to sell a home in that area as well. So buyers, you might check out new build communities and then also the resales in that same area, because you might end up getting a really great discount on a home that's already been built in one of these newer communities. Next up, properties that are not selling are the overpriced and poorly marketed properties. But how in the world do you know if a home is overpriced? A home that is in Littleton but is priced above $1 million is going to behave very differently on the market than a condo that's entry level in the same location. So I'm helping my buyers analyze the market before they even start to make offers or even do showings. What I do is I go and I say, here's how many days on market we can expect in this area. Here's the average days on market. So if a home is above that average and well above their median, then it's likely overpriced. Because if it was priced correctly, it would have gotten an offer below those median days on market. The other thing I'm coaching my buyers on is the percent close to list price ratio as compared to the original list price. So for example, I have a client under contract right now. The property was $500,000. They dropped the price to $460,000. So that's already close to an 8% price drop from their original list price. Well, guess what? Their days on market was very high as well. On the other hand, if a home is priced correctly and it is getting a ton of showings in that first week, like for example, this one that I'm sitting in right now, I listed it on a Tuesday and we had 4 showings, which is highly unusual for a Tuesday. We had a few more coming up for that weekend and a couple of offers come in. So when you look at a property, you're not gonna know if it's overpriced or not. What you need is your agent to pull those stats for you and get a good idea from the listing agent on whether or not it's been priced correctly. And then the marketing part is, of course, an issue when you see homes that have iPhone pictures and they just look kind of dingy inside. Yeah, I don't know why people are hiring agents who take pictures with their cell phones. It's really not that hard for a listing agent to pay for professional marketing. If you are curious about what my marketing looks like and you want to get a better idea of what it looks like to sell a house in the Denver area, I would love to chat with you. You can take a look at my seller's guide and it has all of the process in it. So just download it here and of course text me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. Okay, the last area that I think is really struggling is the condo market, and I specifically mean the downtown condo market, although condos in general are definitely taking a lot longer on the market. Work from home has really become the biggest draw for people who live in the Denver area, which means they no longer have to live downtown and they can choose where they want to live. So those condos are definitely on a discount and they have been for a few years. Okay, let's jump into the homes that are selling fast. Any home in Highlands Ranch, Littleton, Lakewood, and Arvada that is priced correctly and is in that move up category from about 500 to 800,000. And the reason this is so hot is because people really want to live on that side of town. So what you'll see if you look at a map of Zillow is there's tons of homes for sale on the east side of I-25, but all of those suburbs on the west side of 25 are selling much more quickly and for better prices because people really moved here for the lifestyle. We didn't move to drive all the time. So you'll definitely pay a premium to live closer to the mountains, but that proximity is worth something, and that's why people are looking for it. I absolutely love the trails on the west side of Denver, so I made a little spreadsheet that kind of just shares all of my favorites, so you can download it here. And of course, let me know if you have any questions. I would love to chat with you about all the fun trails here in the Denver area. The next hot area I would say is any new build community that's within a hot community already. And what I mean by this is there are small pockets of new builds that are located in some of the most prime locations like Ken Carroll Valley in Littleton, or the Richmond homes over in Highlands Ranch, the Ridgegate community of the Canyons, and smaller new build communities in the Arvada, Wheat Ridge, Westminster areas. Those are really popping. And the reason is they have great locations and they're also brand new. And so buyers are super interested in those, turnkey, modern, open floor plans, and they're getting builder incentives at the same time. Which leads me to my next very hot type of property, and that's one like this one. Those that have been highly updated and are absolutely spectacular with custom tile and designer fixtures, hardware on all of the cabinets, stainless appliances, quartz counters, LVP or hardwood on the main floor, homes that are designer quality. Why? Because people don't want to put the money into it themselves. And it's also a lot of work. So any house that has been updated and is totally turnkey, no matter where it is, it's going fast as long as it's priced correctly. This is a really fun hot market, and it is for anybody who is ready to downsize. It's the single family or patio home ranch floor plan, specifically with the primary and the laundry on the main floor. When I set up searches for some of my senior clients, those are very important items because they're looking farther into the future and making sure that they can still have a comfortable lifestyle in their future home and not have to deal with all of those stairs. Ranch floor plans are so desirable and they take up a lot more land. And so sometimes they are better off as patio homes where they're squished up against another house and they have a smaller lot. And that's okay because usually people who are in that category aren't quite interested in taking care of a huge lawn. If you'll notice, most of what I just talked about today is determined by the first rule of real estate: location, location, location. But also a lot of it has to do with the quality and the build of the home. Buyers are really looking for things that they don't have to put a ton of money into because affordability is such an issue right now. I have a whole nother video about what is really happening in this Denver market and why buyers are experiencing some affordability fatigue. So feel free to watch that, or of course, give me a call or a text. I will respond directly to you myself, and I would love to have a conversation about what your future looks like. I'm Heather O'Leary with eXp Realty. Have a wonderful day.